Hello friends, today's topic is supervised machine learning, and supervised learning is the type of machine learning in which machines are trained using well-labeled training data, and on the basis of that data, machines predict the output. The labeled data means some input data is already tagged with the correct output, and in supervised learning, the training data provided to the machine work as a supervisor that teaches the machines to predict the output correctly. It applies the same concept as a student learns in the supervision of a teacher. And the supervised learning is a process of providing input data as well as correct output data to the machine learning model. And the aim of supervised learning algorithm is to find a mapping function to map the input variables with the output variables. In the real world, supervised learning can be used for risk assessment, image classification, fraud detection, and spam filtering. So, and the supervising where you have a data means you have trained data. If you have a trained, you must to train your data to create a model which gives the output according your input, and you must know what is the output. Okay, so how supervised learning works? In supervised learning, models are trained using labeled data sets where the model learns about each type of data. Once the training process is completed, then the model is tested on the basis of test data, a subset of training set, and then it predicts the output. Just like example this, suppose you have a labeled data means hexagon, pentagon, square, triangle. Okay, so you have to just first to train the data, you have to identify which shape is which. This is a hexagon, this is a hexagon, this is a okay. This is hexagon, this is a square, this is a triangle. Okay, so you have to train your data, you have to label your data, then create a model, okay, according to your requirement. Then prediction start. If when your model is ready, then you go to the test data. Then you go to test your model, and given to the test data means, suppose you have given two images, a square and triangle, then it gives, if you must know, if your model gives the output is a square and triangle, then it will be a correct model. Otherwise, it is something wrong in your model. So you have given a square image and a triangle image, then it will give a square and triangle, then it will show that your model is perfect, working perfectly. Suppose we have a data set of different types of shapes, which includes a square, a rectangle, triangle, and polygon. Now the first step is that we need to train the model for each shape. So you must train each shape to the model. If any model is left, then your model is not perfectly working. If the given shape has 4 sides, so how to train your model? See, if you have a shape and which have 4 sides, all sides are equal, then it means it will be labeled as a square. And if a shape has 3 sides, then it will be labeled as triangle. And if the given shape has 6 sides and all sides are equal, then it will be labeled as a hexagon. And if the given shape has 5 sides and all sides are equal, then it will be labeled as pentagon. Okay. Now, after training, we test our model using test sets, and task of the model is to identify the shape. So now, when your training is completed, then and your model is ready, then you go for test your model and give the input test, give the trained input to your model, test your model, and if the output is correct, output is correct, then your model is working perfectly correctly. Okay, so now after training we test our model using the test set, and the task of the model is to identify the shape, and the machine is already trained on all types of shapes, and when it finds a new shape, it classifies the shape on the basis of number of sides and predicts the output. Okay. तो what are the steps involved in supervised learning? First, सबसे पहले आप क्या करेंगे? First, determine the type of training data set. First, you have to determine the types of training data sets. Then collect or gather the labeled training data. Then split the training data sets into training data set and test data set and validation data set. Now, then determine the input feature of the training data set. We should have enough knowledge so that model can accurately predict the output. Determine the suitable algorithm for the model, such as support vector machine decision tree. Support vector machine decision tree you can use. Which algorithm is suitable for your data set? And now execute the algorithm on the training data set. Sometimes we need a validation sets as the control parameter, which are the subset of training data set. Then evaluate the accuracy of the model by providing the test set, and if the model predicts the correct output, so which means our model is accurate. Then there are the two types of supervised machine learning algorithm. First is regression, second is classification. Regression means regression algorithm are used if there is a relationship between the input variable and the output variable. It is used for the prediction of continuous variables such as weather forecasting, market trends. Below are some popular regression algorithm which comes under supervised learning, just like linear regression, regression trees, non-linear regression, Bayesian linear regression, and polynomial regression. Okay, so regression algorithm क्या हुआ? Are used if there is a relationship between the input variable and the output variable. Okay, it is used for the prediction of continuous variables such as weather forecasting, market trends, like this. Classification algorithms are used when the output variable is categorical, which means there are two classes such as yes or no, male, female, true and false, etc. Just like span filtering, random forecast, decision tree, logistic regression, support vector machine, these algorithms we are using in classification. And what are the advantages of supervised learning? With the help of supervised learning, the model can predict the output on the basis of prior experience. So, if you have a trained data, so you have predict the output. In supervised learning, we can have an exact idea about the classes of objects. So initially you have the information what type of your data and what type of output will come. Supervised learning model help us to solve various real-world problems such as fraud detection, spam filtering. Because you have a trained data and you know what is the outcome. Therefore, therefore we have used supervised learning algorithm in fraud detection, spam filtering, because you know what is the outcome, so you can detect what type fraud detection done in your database or in your accounts. Okay. And disadvantage of supervised learning: supervised learning model are not suitable for handling the complex tasks. Because because you have to train your data, so it is a very complex situation. If your data is also complex, so you have to train all the data. So it is a very difficult task to train your complete data. So it is very difficulty. It is very not suitable for complex tasks. Supervised learning cannot predict the correct output if the test data is different from the training data set. Obviously, if your data, if you can, if you, sorry, if your data is different from training data sets, then obviously it will be different output, because when you have created a model, so it is based on your training data set. Okay, the training required lots of computation times, obviously, because when you train your data sets, so then it must consume lots of time. In supervised learning, we need enough knowledge about the class of objects. Okay, thank you.